All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about a real movie in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. I tend to be kind of a curmudgeon. I don't go out a whole lot just because there are people and there's usually a conflict somewhere that I'm not going to be able to deal with. And I go out with my wife and we try to have a good time together. This past July 4th, I decided to go see a movie, which I hadn't done in a very long time. My wife and I were talking, and I think the last movie I went to see in the theater was School of Rock. So I'm dead serious. I watch movies at home. Everyone's got streaming services. If you want to rent a movie and it's available, you just buy it and you watch it from the comfort of your own home. But I decided to watch this movie called Sound of Freedom. I got notifications on my phone. It looked very interesting. People were basically saying it's a life-changing movie, and they were 100% right. First of all, I don't care where you are on the political spectrum. All right, you need to go see Sound of Freedom. You may not like some of the messages in the movie, like God's children are not for sale. Okay, that's one of the big taglines from the movie. I was crying like a baby through most of this movie, uncontrollably at times. I'm just like, I need to stop crying. You know, I didn't have a box of tissues. That was my fault. I had the napkins from when I ordered the popcorn. What was interesting is I'm eating the popcorn during the previews, and then the movie starts, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to eat this popcorn anymore. You're watching this, you lose your appetite. You're almost thinking it's sinful to eat popcorn while you're watching a true story, by the way, about how these kids are being trafficked and sold and the unspeakable things that are happening to these kids. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-altering. So the Christian Post wrote about this. This is kind of interesting. The Sound of Freedom becomes the #1 movie in America on July 4th, beating Disney's Indiana Jones. Oh, that makes me feel so good. I mean, that's a metaphor for everything right now. Beating Disney. Bye, Disney. Bye. The studio, by the way, that put this out is called Angel Studios. And they've produced a lot of very good content, including The Chosen. A lot of people really love watching The Chosen. I haven't gotten into it yet. I just can't devote the time and energy to watching a number of episodes one after another. But yeah, this studio means business. It's beating Disney on July 4th. And the message that this movie is sending will likely send shockwaves throughout the industry, which apparently had turned this movie script down a number of times. The major studios didn't want to have anything to do with it. Gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. All of the crazy people, the conspiracy theorists out there that think a lot of this stuff is going on in places like Hollywood and in the halls of government and pretty much everywhere people have money and power, those people, I think, are vindicated throughout this movie. So, Sound of Freedom hit theaters on Tuesday, and due to the pay-it-forward technology used by Angel Studios, basically you can get a ticket for free if someone decides to pay it forward. Say you don't have money to go see this movie. That's how strongly they want you to go and see the movie. And I can't recommend this movie enough. Now, if you don't want to face this reality, I understand, because you're cheering for this child to be rescued at the very end of the movie, and it's a very dramatic rescue, and it's one of the best good versus evil positive outcomes I've ever witnessed in a movie, and it's based on a true story. So As recorded by Box Office Mojo, Sound of Freedom grossed $14 million in total, $11.5 million in direct box office sales, and $2.6 million from pay-it-forward tickets sold through July 4th. According to Deadline, Indiana Jones brought in $11.68 million in total, despite showing in double the amount of theaters. Wow. Sound of Freedom was shown in only 2,600 theaters. Tells the story, the true story, of a man's journey to combat child sex trafficking. The Angel Studios film is based on the life of Tim Ballard, a former U.S. Department of Homeland Security agent who left his job because he wanted to do more to rescue children from modern-day slavery. So Tim Ballard, the real Tim Ballard, is an absolute hero. In this movie, he's portrayed by the amazing Jim Caviezel from Passion of the Christ. The film received an A+ cinema score, an 85% critics score, and a 99% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So you notice that the critics only gave it 85, which isn't bad. But everybody else is like A+, A+. How can you... Again, I'm thinking some of these critics didn't want to rate the movie too highly for a number of different reasons that you can opine about on your own. You can surmise that maybe some of them don't want to give this movie too much credit because this movie is upending the film industry as we speak. And Hollywood, which has been a joke for many years, and most of the content from Hollywood is corrupt, it's negative, it's salacious. None of it to me is appealing. I watched movies in the 80s and into the 90s, and then, like I said, School of Rock was like the last movie I went to go see because, hey, it's a rock movie portraying all kinds of, good music and so forth, and it's kind of a fun story. Thanks to fans around the country, Sound of Freedom earned the top spot as America's #1 movie on Independence Day. The publication here says they've received numerous messages telling them that theaters are either packed or sold out. The theater I went to was very packed out. 12:55 on July 4th. Most people are going to the beach. They're doing the barbecue thing, whatever. And this movie theater was filled. I stood in line for 20 minutes just to get the popcorn, and I was hoping I wouldn't miss anything. And because the previews were pretty long, I didn't miss a thing. So this is very interesting. They say shot 5 years ago. The movie was shot 5 years ago. Sound of Freedom was once signed with Disney, but then dropped. Multiple Hollywood studios also rejected the film, but Angel Studios acquired worldwide distribution rights earlier this year, and it is now a certified success. The movie will have viewers at the edge of their seats waiting to see what Ballard does next on his mission to reunite a vulnerable family whose worst nightmare comes to life when both children are taken captive for sex work. Featuring mild foul language and some violence, the film's scenes that are not shown but suggested have a haunting effect on audiences. Yeah. The studio wants families with teenagers to view the film together, since teenagers should also be educated on the evils of the world. The United States, listen to this, the United States was identified as the #1 consumer of sex worldwide, which includes child pornography, according to Jeff Rogers, co-founder of the U.S. Institute Against Human Trafficking, as quoted in a 2019 Fox News report. So they go on to talk about the United States, and it's basically a destination for all of this stuff. And you've got open borders, which is making the situation worse, obviously, and nobody wants to address that problem. Everybody wants to talk about it. the current president basically has ignored what's going on at the border. It's not just about migrants coming over. You want to come over to the United States? I'm with you. I mean, you want to leave real persecution, you want to leave and get asylum. If your country is a hellhole, come on over, but do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. There's got to be a process to screen people. And these coyotes, they bring these kids and, they get mountains of cash, and it's an insane industry. And apparently, because the United States right now is such a moral and upstanding place, we're number one in the world for this child stuff, child trafficking, and child pornography. So this movie, right? Go see this movie and see if it doesn't change you. Now, I'm not saying if it doesn't have an effect on you that you've got something wrong with you. But I would say with a lot of confidence that if this movie doesn't move you to take action somehow, then maybe you need to, I don't know, change your priorities a little bit. I mean, this channel is about music. I talk about music. By the way, there is really good music that is used throughout this movie that really works well. A lot of it is, they're in Honduras, they're in Colombia. I think these are the sounds of these countries that you're hearing as the movie unfolds. And it's really powerful. Again, I haven't been in a movie theater for a long time, and the sound quality in this theater was really, really good and made the viewing experience even better. So again, check out The Sound of Freedom. I guess if you don't like Debbie Downer movies, this is a big Debbie Downer, but it's important. It's too important not to see this movie. And you can pay it forward as well. If you've already seen it, you can help someone else go and see it. And I think you can buy merchandise like those t-shirts that say, God's children are not for sale. I may be getting one of those and wearing it in some of these videos. Some things are bigger than you and me. Some things are bigger than who had the biggest political rally, or who said the most interesting thing on social media to get likes and views. This is about humanity. And I think we're losing our way as a group of people in the year 2024, or 2023, rather. We could change this. We could make things better. We have to decide to do it. And I think that takes a little bit of courage, but courage is contagious. And once you get together with other like-minded people, the fear goes away. And this is, like a couple of other issues currently, a hill that I think people should be willing to die on at the end, because nothing is more important than children. Children are the future, and without them, we have no future. So that's my soapbox speech. I know this isn't the most exciting video. I'm sorry. I did a couple of videos already, and I wanted to tell people about The Sound of Freedom. I think you need to go see The Sound of Freedom, and then, get back to me on it. Tell me what you think of it. All right, that's it.